here we are ready to start our Jersey Roots show interview with New Jersey's bad boy of comedy, Mike Marino. Now, I got to tell you, this guy, he makes you laugh. But you know what? His comedy, it's Jersey. It's all Jersey. It's positive, and it's important, especially these days we're in, to laugh and enjoy life. And people like Mike Marino do that. And my name is John Crisafulli. I'm the founder of 4 co-founders with Jersey Roots, a positive page promoting New Jersey. And we love the opportunity to spotlight people like Mike Marino, who represent our great state. And what's great about our page is we have members, Mike, throughout the entire country and the world, because people with Jersey roots, they're proud to share their Jersey roots, even when they move on from Jersey. And what's great is you perform throughout the country. So there's going to be people that want to learn about you, and when you do your tours and you're doing shows, they're going to be able to see you live, which is the best. Today's interview really is to let everyone know who Mike Marino is, learn about his Jersey roots, and I'm hoping, Mike, you make people laugh, and I'm pretty sure you will. I'll share very quickly. I met Mike Marino at a nonprofit event over 5 years ago. He dedicated his time. He didn't charge the nonprofit, and they were raising funds for their cause. Mike does these type of events all the time. I just asked him before, what do you have coming up, Mike, supporting nonprofits? He said quickly, April 29th, he's supporting autism, the Paul Simmons Autism Radio Show, and it's going to be a great event. But this is what Mike does, and I want you to learn tonight about Mike Marino, who he is, and you're going to learn about his Jersey roots. My first question to Mike Marino is, Mike, when I say the word Jersey roots, what does that mean to you? What does Jersey roots mean to Mike Marino?
I was born and raised in Jersey City, New Jersey. I spent the rest of my growing up years here in Scotch Plains, New Jersey. I'm actually in the house I grew up in this area. This is where I do my podcast live from my mother's basement, because this is the real basement where we had our macaroni and our pastas and our growing up times with me and my 2 brothers. I got into stand-up comedy in Los Angeles when I talked about my Jersey roots. And you're right about people love and have an affection for people from New Jersey, not just around the United States, but around the world. I've been around the world. I've done the USO comedy tour worldwide over 30 times. There's just something about the way we are, the way we present ourselves, maybe the way we grew up, maybe our loyalty to each other, our attitude, the food. I don't know exactly 100% what it is, but I can tell you this. When I walk on stage in, let's say, someplace like Alabama, and I say, hey, everybody, how you doing? The place goes wild.
Awesome. Now, Mike, real quick, I'm going to break to a scene. This is Mike Marino, folks. And you probably saw this because this comedy joke that he shared on live TV was seen by 15 million people. Just give you a taste of Mike Marino. Just give me one quick second, and I'll be putting it on with Mike and I.
So, Mike, who do you think should run the country? I think we should have an Italian president from New Jersey running the country from now on.
Named Mike Marino.
Let me think about it. We had an Italian president running the country right now. This war in Afghanistan be over. You wouldn't know how, but it'd be over. And then they'd ask the president, how'd you end the war, Mr. President? He'd be like, don't worry about it. You just go enjoy the gas prices at 32 cents a gallon now, okay?
That's all taken care of.
Think about it. When Bin Laden first made us mad, what did our president do? He sent over the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps. Everybody went to find one guy. An Italian president? No. 2 Italians from Jersey be back in 24 hours. They'd have found Bin Laden. They'd have walked right into his cave like it was a hit. Osama! How you doing? Pull up a rock. I want to talk to you about something. I'm already upset with you. I had to get up early. You know how far you live from New Jersey? I tell you what, sit still. Here's what we're going to do for you, Ben. Hey, Vinny, hit him with the bat. Is he dead? Good. War's over. Steal the rugs. Let's get out of here.
Mike, you're natural. That's what it is. You know, you're a natural guy. You're a Jersey guy, and you're highly talented. So, Mike, is it true you're still running for president? Are you planning to run for president of the United States?
Well, I stopped running, but then I figure I'm going to have to do it again. So I'm running for 2024. With the way things are going, you need me.
Yeah, Mike, you know what? I think so. Especially people on Jersey Roost, they voiced their opinion. You know, we have to remove things, but, you know, we need good direction, Mike. So hopefully you do run. We're looking forward to that.
Well, I'm running under the platform Make America Italian Again. And my viewpoint's going to be, you don't know nothing, you don't see nothing, you don't say nothing. That's America.
I love it. I love it, Mike. Mike, tell me about your parents, your family growing up. What was it like in the Marino household?
Great. I'm glad I grew up in the era I grew up in, not like what's going on in the world today. My mother and father were always here. I have an older brother and a younger brother. And every night at 6 o'clock, we had dinner. And on Sunday, we had dinner at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which was made with love and care. We called it gravy, sausage, meatballs, bragioles. Raviolis was my favorite. And then that night, you had a sandwich.
So it's gravy, not sauce?
To us, we said gravy. I met somebody recently that was saying the history of why the people in the United States, some of us say gravy. But my mother always said because sauce was made with just marinara, and she called it marina. And if it was with meats, it was called gravy. So that's the way we did it. I grew up with gravy.
Mike, can you share what your father did for a living?
Well, my father was basically in the construction business most of his life. Me and my two brothers worked in the construction business with my dad. I moved out to Hollywood to become an actor, and my younger brother took over the paving division. My older brother took over the striping division. So one would pave, one would stripe, and I would tell jokes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Mike, what was some of the, you talked about the meals, but any other meals that growing up in the Marino household that you love to have?
Chicken cutlets. My mother made the best chicken cutlets. I don't know what she did, boy, but she would make the greatest chicken cutlets, you know. And then you'd even have them the next day, either as a sandwich or a snack. And I used to like to dip them in ketchup. I don't know why we did that, but ketchup or barbecue sauce. And you could eat just tons of them because they were so delicious. I guess it was kind of like a chicken finger, but made just the best. And I remember every night of the week we had a full-blown dinner with a main course, string beans, mashed potatoes, corn, salad. And then, of course, if we had a pasta dinner, we always had meatball and salad after macaroni.
Wow. Wow. Awesome. Now, Mike, I see that behind you, it says live from your mother's basement. Is it true you're still in your mother's basement?
Yeah, when my mom and dad bought this house, I was 7 years old, and we moved here from Jersey City. There was a bar built here in the basement, I guess from the 1940s, and I remodeled it, but I didn't change it that much. So this bar actually is a full-blown working bar. I can make any drink here you could think of. There's a sink back here, and the cash register is from my grandfather. He used to own a shoe shine shop or a shoe repair shop in Jersey City. That cash register is from 1886.
Wow. Wow. Very cool. Mike.
It's a lot of antiques down here, so it makes a great setting for a talk show, especially if you want to drink.
I love it. I love it. Mike, growing up, any mentors?
Well, when I was a little kid, I always wanted to be an actor. I never really wanted to be a stand-up comedian. So I would impersonate Robert De Niro. I would impersonate Al Pacino and Dustin Hoffman. But I had a knack of picking up voices from television shows and commercials. But what made me want to get into stand-up was Rodney Dangerfield. He was such a knucklehead. I thought, you know what, I could be like him.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Mike, can you do one impersonation for us?
I haven't done impersonations in years. I wouldn't even know how. I ain't no respect at all, you know. That's about it. Now I do my own shows or my own material, but I've been doing characters. I do my Uncle Tommy, which was a real life person. My cousin Michelle, the Stone guy, I do Mooney, and I do my own characters.
I love it. Love it. The Mike, you live in Scotch Plains. I know I worked in Scotch Plains. What is Scotch Plains to you?
Oh, this is apple pie, man. This is the place you want to live. I so badly want to do a TV series about my life growing up in this town. I know it would be a hit for so many people around the world because everybody in this town's nice to each other. The chivalry is not dead. If you see a senior citizen, you help them. If it snows and your neighbor needs to have their driveway shoveled, you do it. Everybody shares food, friends, frolic. It's just the best place to be.
Awesome.
I live in Los Angeles, nothing but hatred, people on the streets wanting to jump each other. And, of course, we know how New York is. But Scotch Plains, Westfield, all these little towns are just quaint and beautiful and nice. And I hope it remains this way for another 100 years.
Wow. I recently saw where I was married, Pantages, Snuffy's, was knocked down, right? Any plans?
Well, they didn't knock it down, but it sits there empty. And, yeah, man, that's like an icon. I remember when it was Snuffy's, and anybody got married there. And then you had so many high school reunions there. We had our 10-year high school reunion at Snuffy's, and it was just great. And I could actually walk to it. I used to catch the bus when I was 16 through about maybe 26 on the corner of Park Avenue and Westfield Road or Mountain Avenue. And that's where Snuffy's was on the corner. So I sat there looking at Snuffy's, waiting for the 114 New Jersey Transit bus to New York City so I could become an actor.
Wow. What's it like driving on Route 22 all the time?
It's like it always been. We used to call it Death Trap 22 because, there was people coming on and off the roadway from both sides, and it was really, really dangerous. But, it is and should be a national landmark because the Four Seasons bowling alley, where the Four Seasons created their name, is on Route 22 in Union, and I think they're about to knock it down. And my mom told me she used to go to the Flagship, which is in Union on Route 22 in the center, and they used to put on big shows, and she saw Frankie Valli singing there. Wow. So now I think it's the Wiz. Nobody beats the Wiz, if that's still it, or maybe it's something else. Maybe you even remember there was so many great stores on Route.
You're back, right?
My phone rang.
Oh, all right. That's all right.
I don't get it.
Well, listen, there's no way to stop the phone from ringing, Mike.
We better hurry up. It's going to ring again.
So real quick, Mike, you grew up in the 80s, and you used to go down the Jersey Shore. Tell me about what was it like in the 80s, in the heart of the 80s, down the Jersey Shore for Mike Marino.
Well, let me start off by telling you, I don't know what the phone did, but I can see you moving now.
All right.
The 80s was the greatest time to grow up, man. You didn't have a care in the world, and everybody wanted to have the ultimate beach house. And Belmar, New Jersey was the place to be. 22 bars in a 1 mile square radius, 1986 to 1996. The place to be, right? Sorry about that. People keep calling me. And all we wanted to do was go dancing and have fun, go surfing, go water skiing, go jet skiing, and not let the summers end. And they finally ended because we grew up, everybody got married, and it just ruined our beach lives. But I got it all on tape, and someday, hopefully, I'll make that a big documentary because I have the interior of some of the clubs, and those clubs are all long gone. You could buy a beach house for $100,000. Those houses right now are worth $2 million, and you're never going to get back in, and it's never going to go back the way it was. But I lived it, and I enjoyed it, and I'm hoping we could relive it again through the documentary that I'm going to write and produce and direct and put out with my production team called The Real Jersey Shore.
Well, Mike, I want to help that happen. So, folks here, 56,000 people in Jersey Roots, you want to make this happen, let Mike know. Let Johnny C know. I've seen this footage. It's serious. And Mike was that guy with that camcorder on his shoulder. And Mike, is it true you guys actually made blueprints and planned these parties in this house?
Yeah, because what had happened was, if you remember the movie Animal House, well, we thought we would be Animal House. And everybody had a house on the Jersey Shore just for the 3 months. From Memorial Day to Labor Day, get the fun in. You got all those weekends, you made it happen. Then you locked up the house and you left. Well, we never left. We kept it open all summer and winter long. So in the winter, we would have the guys that had like a membership, and the membership was part of the Shore House group. We had shirts, shoes, socks, hats, matches, you name it, we had it, and I videotaped everything we ever did. There's memorabilia all around this house. Now, where are those guys today? They're in their 50s, they're in their 60s, and they would love to tell the story about how just being happy going out dancing was the greatest time. Now, there were guys from colleges, like, let's say, Rutgers. You take 10 guys, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom house, trash the shit out of it, and what did they do? They were lifeguards, they were beach bums, they were servers at restaurants. Well, that's what we did, only we made our house upscale. We had 11 bedrooms and 11 guys. Each guy had their own room and our own business cards. So when we had an open house party, we knew exactly how to have a party where there would be 50% guys and 50% girls. We had it down. We were the only ones that had a 50-50 party. You know how we did it? You never invite men to your party, ever. They know how to find it, and the girls will bring them anyway. So that's how you even the score. And why did we do that? So that we can have the ultimate fun. Girls come to parties with guys. Guys come to parties with guys. Made no sense. So we knew what we were doing.
I love it, Mike. And what I love about it even more is you're from Jersey. There's a show out there. There's a show out there, and it is what it is. But they weren't even from Jersey. And, this show that you're talking about, this documentary film, would be a positive thing for our state and maybe would encourage the future.
It really would. You know why? Because the message would be how it was just joyful. It wasn't violent. Nobody was hurting anybody. Nobody was making videotapes of each other doing stupid stuff in the street. It was great music, great times. Things were inexpensive. And you didn't have to get in your car and drive somewhere. You could walk. So nobody got hurt. And if it was a beautiful day, you went to the beach. At night, you went to a bar. We played wiffle ball. Who fights over wiffle ball? Come on. We used to go into contests all the time. Plus, me and my 2 brothers were really heavily into surfing. And, 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday with a hangover, you jump in the ocean, catch yourself a wave, you're fine.
I love it. Mike, how'd you get into comedy?
Because I was working on a soap opera. I was on As the World Turns, and everybody kept saying during the breaks that I was really funny. And I didn't want to be funny. Then I went out to California, and everybody kept saying, you Jersey people, you're so funny. You Jersey people, so funny. So I started to get angry about that. So I said, all right. And I made fun of my mother and father on stage one night, and they said, that's it. You're hilarious. And now I'm addicted. And I became one of the top comedians touring the country. I became one of the top 10 commercial actors in New York City. And now it's time to do a sitcom and a couple of movies. And I'm hoping that I could keep on doing with the sponsors that I have on my show, live from my mother's basement every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, and make these documentaries. The only reason why I need money to make the particular documentary is because we want to use the music from the 80s and the early 90s, and that's actually expensive.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Now, you mentioned sponsors. Can you share some of your sponsors?
Oh, yeah, man. I've had some of the best sponsors. You know, I had Lucatelli Cheese for a little while. I had Dr. Andy Rosenfarb from Westfield. He's an acupuncturist. He has a company called AccuVision Acupuncture. I've had Regina's Pizza out of Akron, Ohio. I hope I'm not going to forget too many of them. I had this olive oil company called Tastefully Olive. We had them on the show not too long ago. The last show I had celebrity actor Joe Mantegna on my show, and we talked all about his career. He's got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He's Italian. He's from Chicago. I've had a lot of great guys on the show. We'll have you on the show. We'll have Joe Amore on the show. Speaking of which, we have a mutual friend who is now the senator of the state of New Jersey, John Bramnick.
Yes.
A lot of great guys like this.
Mike, that picture behind you, I don't know if you could take it off the wall. Is that you down the Jersey Shore in the 80s with the surfboard? Could you show everybody it a little closer? Because that's cool.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Here, I'll show you the real Jersey Shore. You ready?
I'm ready. Look at that. Where are you, Mike? Yeah, I
Shore House. That's on the 9th Avenue beach.
I love it. The Shore House.
I called my house the Shore House. S-U-R-E, the Shore House. It meant you were sure to have a good time.
Wow. I love it. Look at those pants, Mike. I remember wearing those pants.
I grew up playing the drums. This is the first Shore House picture we ever took. I don't know if you could see this because I'm in the dark.
Wow. That's awesome.
Very young.
What street was that on? What street, Mike, in Belmar?
9th Avenue, Belmar, New Jersey.
Wow.
I don't know if everybody can see this, but this is the actual basement I grew up in.
Looks like a Jersey basement to me.
Is the bar.
Love it. Love it.
This is my grandmother's refrigerator. Still working after all these years.
I love it. Love it. What year do you think that is?
50s.
That's great.
And
that's great, Mike. Yeah, wow. Beautiful. That's beautiful. Folks, you're getting a tour of Mike Marino's basement. I mean, come on. Only on Jersey Roots. Mike, now, what's a typical day? Because you do travel. I talk to you sometimes. You're going here, you're going there. But what's a typical day, a week, a month, in a month for Mike Marino?
Well, I have an office upstairs, and I have an office in Los Angeles, California. I have a producer. Her name is Tatiana Blue Shells. She's the one who produces my show that's called The Not So Late Show, and she produces my podcast, Live from My Mother's Basement. She also produces the web series, The Adventures of G.I. Giovanni and Make America Italian Again. And her husband, Cody, directs all the projects. So I'm really, really lucky and blessed that I have that team behind me.
That's awesome.
And during the day, you're basically working 9 to 5, booking hotels, talking to the theaters, getting my car ready, talking to agents and managers and places. And, you know, I set out for a tour this coming Wednesday, and we're doing 4 really big shows in Florida. So I'm going to go to Naples, Tampa, Aventura, Fort Lauderdale, and Boca Raton. And those shows I'm doing with Joe Gorga, who's on the Jersey Housewives. He's Teresa's brother and the husband of Melissa Gorga. So the two of us are setting out to tour. It's called the Jersey Boys Comedy Tour with the real Jersey House husband, Joe Gorga.
Mike, the mayor of Seaside Heights, Tony Vaz, just came on. You were just talking about the Jersey Shore, and Tony, there's some major plans Mike has to continue the uplifting, but Seaside Heights is going through a renaissance. Anything you want to share to the mayor of Seaside Heights?
Well, when we were doing our heyday on the Jersey Shore type thing, we would go to happy hour in Seaside to go to Joey Harrison's surf club. But we never went there that much because, you wanted to be able to drink. And if we drove to Seaside and got drunk and drove all the way back to Belmar, it's not a good idea. So as crazy as we all were, we were a little bit more of on the awareness side that you could get in a lot of trouble. We used to go to Manasquan. There was another place in Manasquan called the Casablanca. But Joey Harrison's Surf Club was the place to be. And I know the Jersey Shore takes place in Seaside, but we were Belmar. And I think when we do go into production, it'd be nice to get testimonials from people from the surrounding towns, because there was a year, I think it was 1987, they had a episode of Jersey Shore partying on Sally Jesse Raphael. And it was the renters against the landlords. And we were actually landlords. And I was only 21. So it was a catch-22, because at 21 years old, if we didn't rent out the house, we couldn't afford that mortgage.
Wow.
But now that house is worth $2 million.
Interesting.
And
wow.
My brother owns it.
Wow.
So
I have Vivi asking, any shows coming up in AC, Mike?
Yes. I'll be at Harrah's in Atlantic City on April 30th. And I'll be with Joe Gorga. I believe tickets are on sale now. But that's a definite. April 30, Harrah's, Atlantic City.
Mike, a good friend of mine of yours, your cousin, reached out to me during the day. He says, make sure you tell Mike I said hello. Bill Greco.
Billy Greco, yes. I'm going to see him Sunday night in Boca Raton. Billy Greco is the president of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. No, the Jersey Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Wait, it's going to come to me. Not Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I know
Music Hall of Fame. Jersey Music Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I got to get that right. I don't think I'm saying it right. And one of the reasons why I'm not saying it right is because in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. The drummer from the original E Street Band is Vinny Mad Dog Lopez, who's from New Jersey, is coming to see me Thursday night in Tampa. I've been very good friends with Vinny for quite some time. So that's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And my cousin is the president and creator of the East Coast Music Hall of Fame.
I was just looking it up.
Greco, the East Coast Music Hall of Fame. Hopefully they'll let me host the event. I'd love to do it.
That's awesome, Mike. So, Mike, that goes into any personal passions that Mike Marino has. What other than we're going to make this film, what other personal passions do you have as an individual?
I like going surfing. I'm a good cook. I like being around my friends and family. I'm completely engrossed in show business. I love to make people laugh. I just did a show this Saturday night at the Raz Room in New Hope, Pennsylvania. And all I wanted to do was watch people bend over, grab their stomach, and say, I can't take anymore. And you know who came to my show? My high school band teacher. He's about maybe 78 years old. And he was the guy at my age. I was 16. And he asked me the question, do you really want to be an actor? And I said, yes. And at that time, he called my parents and said, I'm tied into this acting school in New York City. It's called Herbert Berghoff Studios, and I would like to take your son to the city. So we got in the car on a Sunday. He went and visited his friends, and I went to acting school.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I owe that guy a lot. I did a whole tribute to him right there in front of the audience.
Wow. Mike, you love your fans. Your fans love you. What do you have to share with your fans? And I'm telling you, there are people throughout the whole country watching and going to be watching the show, as we'll be keeping it up on the announcements of the page for a week. What message do you have for your fans?
Try not to watch the news. And don't be angry because comedians may or may not say something that makes you uncomfortable. If we weren't around, who would bring joy to the world? We're clowns. You know, it actually says in the Bible, Jesus' favorite job was that of the entertainer, the comedian, the one who made you smile. Now, the only way we can make anybody smile is to tell the truth. The truth is funny. The truth is how you grew up. It's your family. It's how you slipped on the ice and you fell. It's funny. So don't stop the funny. Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
Wow. One of our members, a good friend, Anthony Sessa from Belleville. Laughter is the best medicine by far.
It is. It makes you breathe. It makes you chuckle. It makes you smile. And it makes you forget about the crap that's going on in the world.
Mike, we're going to be wrapping up soon. Could you give us a joke? And then I'm going to play another famous clip of Mike Marino. But can you make us laugh a little? One joke.
I never really do jokes. Set up punch jokes is something I never did. We tell stories. Stories can take a while. I did do this the other night that I thought that this was funny and it made people laugh. Now, naturally, during these days, kids do things that we never did when we were younger. We didn't have it. We didn't have social media. We didn't have TikTok. We didn't have Instagram. We didn't even have a phone. If you remember, there was a time you actually had to ask your parents if you could use the kitchen phone to call somebody. And it better have been about homework. Otherwise, you get slapped. But I remember the things that my parents used to say and do, including my niece was telling me she bought a Halloween costume. So I said the kids are spoiled because when we were kids, you didn't buy a Halloween costume, you made it. And how did you make it? You put on your father's clothes and you went trick-or-treating as a bum. That makes me laugh. And I remember my mother said to me, I'm too young to go trick-or-treating, but you could trick-or-treat in the house. So I said, okay, I want a costume. So she put a colander on my head and a wooden spoon in one hand. And she said, now you trick-or-treat. And I said, but who am I supposed to be? She said, you're al dente. And I think that's the cutest joke I ever came up with. But that's the truth. That really happened. I can't hear you. Unmute yourself.
Thanks, Mike. That was
you
great.
Muted yourself.
I did. I'm trying to get this other clip going. It was with what that clip that I played before, Mike, when you're in Atlantic City. What's the name of that clip?
Well, I don't think that's Atlantic City. I think it's Las Vegas, Nevada.
Is it? Okay.
And I was performing at the Tropicana. And inside the Tropicana in Las Vegas is the famous Laugh Factory. So I was performing at the Laugh Factory, and I met that man, and that's how we came up with that joke.
I found it.
All right, let's see it.
All right, let me get it on so everybody can see this. It's a great one. Okay, here we go.
So as you know, I'm running for president of the United States. Now, who do we know in Washington that can help us make this happen? Someone on the inside.
We know some people.
All right. Good. How about Trump? How about this Trump thing?
Trump? You let me worry about Trump.
Today I want to settle an all-family business. Take care of ISIS, Jihad John, Al-Qaeda, Mo Green, Stracci, Cuneo, Tatalia.
What the hell are you talking about?
I really don't know.
What's the matter with you?
A little hungry. You hungry?
Yeah, I'm hungry. A little bit.
Let's go downstairs. Mommy made something.
She did?
Yeah, no,
Yeah. Forget about what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you, Mike, that one is great. I
We
played that
did
for
18 episodes of Make America Italian Again, produced and directed by Cody Boson, and that is Tatiana Bluchel. And I'm very happy that they were on my team out there. They still are. And that's Robert Nash, who impersonates Robert De Niro for a living, and he's a very funny actor. And that's how that happened.
I showed it to my father the other day, and my father says, that's De Niro. I said, no, that's not De Niro. So, yeah, amazing.
When we were filming on the street, everybody thought it was De Niro. It was hilarious. Everybody's like, oh, my God, you working with De Niro. I'm like, hey, shh.
Well, Mike, it was a great interview. I had so many comments. People loved it. I mean, I could stay on a little bit longer if anyone else has more questions. But, as we said in the beginning, Mike, you're a Jersey guy. And I love how you said it's not jokes, it's stories. And it's natural. I've been honored to see you perform. And even with my friend John Bramnick. And you're amazing. You uplift others. You support others. You give back. That's what it's all about. And I implore everyone on Jersey Roots, get to know Mike Marino. Follow his page. Check out his podcast. And, Mike, I hope you can come back on Jersey Roots, make us laugh. And, there's a lot of things I think you're going to have to update people. And they want to hear from you. And I want to hear from you. So I thank you very much.
We're going to make something happen. So tell everybody at Jersey Roots to follow me on all social media at Mike Marino Live. My website's mikemarino.net. You can buy some shirts and tracksuits that say Make America Italian Again. You can buy some laughs. You can watch some laughs. You should subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's 100% free. So just go to mikemarino.net or at Mike Marino Live on all social media.
Mike, thank you. On behalf of Jersey Roots, and we thank you for your time. And again, anything we can do to help and support people like yourself, we're always here. And I'll close by saying, if you have a Jersey Roots story out there and you want to share it, or someone that has a beautiful Jersey Roots story, let us know. We'd like to let the 55,000 plus growing people throughout the country and the world know that story. And Mike Marino is one of those very special people with that Jersey Roots story and someone that's pro and positive New Jersey. Michael, thank you. Have a great night.
Everybody.